Hi everybody, it's Dennis, the Active Trend Trader. Are you one of the traders who has a difficult time finding great growth stocks to trade every weekend? Well, we've got the answer. Welcome to How to Make Money Trading Stocks and Options. We're going to cover three things. Our panel of expert traders has picked out 3 top shelf growth stocks that are setting up and ready potentially to trade next week. Number 2, an analysis of the indexes showing which ones are strongest, which ones are weakest, and what the potential is for a move next week. And then we'll also cover another trading problem or issue that you may be having, and we'll provide an answer to that will help you, 1, maximize your profits and minimize your losses. So let's get into today's session right now. And good morning. I'm Dennis Wilburn, the Active Trend Trader. Welcome to How to Make Money Trading Stocks and Options, plus a couple of some trading tips you might want to take a look at going into next week, or just something you want to put into your journal to remember next time, basically to build up your own trading repertoire of tools to use. And that works really good. I want to welcome Anil Parikh and Steve Ferreira from 2 excellent traders. We've got some interesting stocks to trade this week. Briefly, guys, the market really took fell to the downside this week. What special, did you do anything special to protect your profits and your capital?
I had a system that took me out.
Okay, so you went 100% to cash, Anil?
Last week I was 100% cash. I just dipped in a little bit yesterday.
Okay, cool. Steve?
And I was in and out and back and starting to get back in. I was largely in. I was mostly out. I had 2 positions at my lowest from a normal of around 30.
Right.
And then I'm starting to get back in.
And so, yeah, I agree with that. We're getting a really nice little rebound today. You may want to start, salting, putting some couple of positions on, or at least to have some exposure. That's what we were triggered into. First, I was triggered all the way out, but I had a couple of conditional orders in from the Autopilot trading system for the leverage ETFs, and we were triggered into both TNA, which is up very nicely, triggered in at about $85, and now it's up to 87 and some change. And then also the financials, FAS. We basically triggered in this morning, actually about a little bit over $15, and now it's up over $5 from where we got in. So I love those conditional orders with the Active Trend Trading Autopilot trading system. It gets you in, gets you out, and it's almost fire and forget. You got to make a couple of mid-course corrections or adjustments, but functions very well. So let's go ahead and remember why we're here. 1, patience, persistence, and profits, and proper planning. If you want to maximize your profits, minimize your losses, 1, Active Trend Trading is a proven, clear, and simple system that focuses on helping you trade your way to, I love this, wealth and financial freedom. Did you know the majority of traders when they're putting together their trading plan, they don't even think about wealth building and financial freedom. And I think one of the reasons why I know when I was learning how to trade, that was never talked about. And so that's one of the adjustments I'm making within the Active Trend Trading system is I want our members to be aware of what it takes to, 1, build wealth, which is very important because guess what? Uncle Sam's going to be coming after more of your money next year. And so you got to still continue to build your wealth. And then secondly, what are you going to do when you get to financial freedom? Where can you, the more you get to financial freedom, the more ways you find to I think, keep more of your wealth. But I'm not an accountant, and your accountant can help you do that. So my yearly goal is 40% on ROI with a 65% win-loss ratio. What we're going to do today is take a look at the market. Stock picks from our elite traders. Got some good ones. I think Eric Gallum is going to be really surprised by my pick today. As a matter of fact, everybody might be surprised with it. One of the things when the market starts to do what it's doing is learn to focus on the process, and the profits will follow. And if your process is telling you stay out of the market, and or your process, you have a winning process, it's got a good edge, hang in there. Don't get an itchy trigger finger to basically want to jump in the market, because it really is a temptation. You're in cash, but I want to be in the market. I want to be in the market. You have to put those feelings aside and just work from that. So that's what we've got going. Remember that all the tools we do present are for training purposes. Traders should always paper trade any new method, probably the risk of their own personal capital. Past performance is not an indication or promise of future performance. Here's where we finished up September. Very pleased. We had kind of a big thing happen between July and going into September. July, August, and into September. What was that? That is that basically I expanded and started pyramiding into trades, and so I had greater exposure and therefore greater opportunity for growth. I'm fairly confident that I will hit the 40% by the end of the year. We're up about last week. Of course, we were up about 28%, 23%. But then this week, what's really nice, as you see, even though the market really took a dive, like this S&P, look, 18%. Now it's down to 15%, lost over 3% of its value. We didn't do that. So we're continuing to stack on top, profits after profits after profits with minimal losses, so that by the end of the year, I anticipate being up about to the 40% or greater. And so, hey, Payush, how are you doing? I understand you ran into a friend of mine. And so, anyway, so basically, guys, let's go ahead and look at the indexes, and then we'll jump over to our stock picks for today. So what are we getting? Here is the S&P, or the spiders, if you will. One of the things, and my tips, for trading, is I've been really watching, and if you want to improve the probability of having profitable trades, wait for signals or signs that the momentum is shifted. I know in my own trading, when I would fail to wait for signals that the momentum had shifted, I would wind up oftentimes with a losing trade, which that's very frustrating. So what are some of the signals that a momentum shift is ongoing? Well, one, we get a candlestick reversal pattern at or near support levels. I'm talking about a bullish. Two, price action takes out the high of the low day. That just goes to Dr. Alexander Elder in his book, where he talks about trading for a living. That's one of his primary ways to get into to stocks. Secondly, the momentum oscillators reverse and cross back up to the upside. Now, what oftentimes happens is you will get the price action clues, then have it confirmed by the momentum indicators. And so we want to remember, the rest of what we want to remember is, where is the price action happening with regards to the moving averages? If it's below the moving average, the significant moving averages, well, then we can anticipate a move back up to the moving averages. and look for stalling effects there. The question you have to answer as a trader is there enough room or enough of a movement to make the counter trend trade worthwhile? We are currently in a downtrend. Even though we're getting a nice rally attempt today, we are in a downtrend. Intraday, we took out the low here on the S&P. So, however, with that said, if we prices finish where they are right now, we will have a bullish Harami, a nice one. And this is a good one, fairly good sized body inside yesterday's big sell-off day. Made a new low. What else do we have going on that's positive for the S&P? Nice positive divergence here. Not so much positive divergence on the market forecast. The one thing that we can look at is this 100% extension down here that I measured earlier is the same as the move from here to here, a symmetric move from this swing high here, and that would be 100% extension down here. And what price is that at? It's about 119. Price action actually dropped down to the 78% extension. So that can also be an early warning for where I want to reverse and turn around. So we need to be aware, if I take a trade based on this candlestick right here, if I take a trade based on that candlestick by the end of the day, you want to be, recognize that where is it likely to turn in, run into resistance? Up here somewhere, back up in that area. Now that would be a fairly nice move, $3, $4, $5 to go from there to there. It is about, there we go, about $5. And so if you're trading options, not a bad way to go. So that's what we've got going there. Again, it's not a time to try to get short. It's a time to look, is it worth taking a move to the upside? The other way you can look at this is like if I get a retest down here at about the 429 level, that would be a great place also to jump on a trade to the long side. Let me get this over here. What are the Qs doing? NASDAQ's been a little bit more shaky than the S&P. It is also in a downtrend. Took out the swing low here, lower swing high here. However, we're getting a very excellent hammer today. If one believes that a hammer is a self-confirming candlestick signal, you may want to nibble a little bit with either buying the TQQQ and or doing an option trade. Be aware though, if you do an option trade, well, one of the things, if you buy a call, even if it's out like to the 15th or longer in October, be aware that what's going on is the value of your options is shrinking due to a squish or a crunch on the volatility. And I'll show you what that looks like here shortly. But again, what was let's go ahead and grab our tool here. Maybe, there we go. And I'm going to go the extension route. I'm going to go up here to these past highs. This past low here. Back to the past high. And as you can see, where did it almost got down to the 100, but then is in the process of putting in a nice rally. Bullish Harami, and it bounced back up above the 786. So oftentimes when it bounces back above the 786, that gives it a free rein to start pushing up even higher than that. Again, I'm looking at the same area for when it might get back up into this area. The other piece of what I want to be taking a look at, folks, is I want to look at what is my timing. And I go over and I grab my time Fibonacci, and I want to know, here was the last rally attempt. If we do a similar type rally attempt, when is it likely to peak? In other words, so So I just basically do the same type of extension. Click on that. And this basically red line right here, which is on 10/7. 10/7 happens to be Thursday of next week. And so from a timing perspective, if this does run back up, that's where we would anticipate right there in that little box, or little circle right in there. That's where I'd anticipate that moving. The other thing I would want to do is I'm going to get rid of this real quick. And remove that and take a look at this Fibonacci, which is the Fibonacci extension. Now, this is a price extension, expecting a similar type move. Now, it doesn't have to be exact, but a similar type move back up. And I didn't want the timing silly. This one. That's the regular price. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the same time period. Now, this is going to measure the move from here to here, from swing low to swing high, extended down here. And right there is the 100% extension. That's basically where the move back up would be symmetric. And right around there, about the 367 level, and also where that timing section comes into. So kind of interesting how that, somewhere between, I would say, this day here, which is 10/6, and this one here is 10/9, and 10/9, of course, is on a Saturday, so that doesn't count. We go to the next day out. But that gives you a little box on where prices could be. You can write down those dates, and I'll be looking to work with those. But right now, yeah, Qs are looking fairly good. Let me get rid of some of this stuff here. I'm going to get rid of the fibs. And it's a really good way. If you want to know more about trading fibs or utilizing them, you can find, I've got two really great tutorials over on the YouTube channel, Market Tech Talk. And they'll talk specifically about that. Look at this. Momentum here is in a low reversal, might pop up. We had a two-line cluster yesterday, and now we're getting a reversal. Perfect example of how we get a two-line cluster. We expect a reversal within 1 to 2 days. We push down a little bit lower. Now we're getting a rally attempt. And I'm going to get on over here, guys. Sorry for taking a little bit verbose on that. So IWM looks really good, pushing to the upside. We came down, hit a new low. TSI is turning up at the 50-day, or at the zero line, excuse me. If we continue to press on up, it is breaking back through the moving averages. And so I would anticipate if it closes approximately where it's at today, I would expect a move to run back up at least to about the 227 level or even higher. The other thing this is the start of a potential move to the uptrend. Okay, we have a swing low, swing high here, but what we're getting is a higher swing low. Therefore, that's the first ingredient. We take out this high here, and that would put us back in the position for a new uptrend. So, guys, that's what I've got. Again, I think that IWM actually looks a little bit healthier, but that goes along with the thesis I've been having all year long, is that seasonality-wise, the Russell tends to outperform the other two indexes at the end of the year, the last 3 months of the year. Thoughts?
I don't disagree. I think we're making a turn starting today. We've had the first time in a while, kind of a choppy attempt to make a bottom, but I think we are making a bottom. And I think when you set your individual stock set up, I think it's time to start taking trades. We're in a yellow light condition, so there's no reason not to start trading.
I
And
agree.
I've started that process today. I'm about a third to a little over a third back invested when I had really gotten down to actually one position in the sell-off that occurred, in the two sell-offs that occurred recently.
Okay, Anil?
I liked your fib analysis. That's good.
Okay. And so, yeah, and here's another thing that I'm looking at, guys, is like I said, if you're an option trader, if you happen, one thing you happen to want to watch, if you're buying a bullish call type of option, as this volatility, slings back down to the downside, that will impact the value of your options. In other words, your call options, while the underlying is going up in price because of the volatility, crunching back down, the options won't move that much, or they may even show up as a loss, and that can always be a challenge for option traders, because you're sitting there going, but wait a second, my underline's going up dramatically, and why am I showing a loss? And that's like I said, that's one of the things of welcome to the world of trading options. That's one of the
unless earnings is reasonably close, then there's a chance to hold off.
Yeah. But if you're trading on the index ETFs, it's so here's what we have is basically on what's very interesting is on the 20th we peaked, and as we started to basically make this is almost could be considered a positive divergence on the VIX, in that prices made a new low. However, volatility did not make a new high. And so kind of interesting perception. So with no further ado, okay. Steve, I'm going to put yours up first.
Okay. It's Upstart. It's a relatively new company. It's on the IBD 50. It has been in a very strong trend. Look at the weekly chart.
Stop
and
it.
I think, we're getting a pullback. We're holding the 20.
Okay.
I wouldn't necessarily get involved today unless we have more of a hangman kind of a pattern develop. But I think it's suggestive of reversal, and I'd be looking for a trade on Monday above today's high.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
go ahead.
And that's exactly, you're talking about above today's high, which is above the high of the low day, which is one of the signals of a momentum shift.
Yeah.
So excellent. So yeah, what kind of options does this have on it? It's got weekly options on it. So
it's got pretty good options and fairly good, not great, but fairly good liquidity.
And it's a newer entity also.
Right.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, I like that Upstart. It showed up in the Delaware focus list right actually before the earnings, so we were able to take the great ride here.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, I've been in it, and I'm adding positions.
Yeah. One, I kind of like it. Here's where the last buyers came. This is where it came in, and we're just slightly above that. But at the same time, it's close enough that we're saying, it's come back and tested. That we know that there's a supply of buyers sitting about here.
Right.
And that's where it did its bounce. And like I said,
and then if you put I'm not asking you to do it, but if you put a volume profile chart on it, you'll see we pull right back to a high volume node, which is a sign of strong support.
Excellent. So now here's Anil's. Now, what do these guys do, Anil?
I was afraid you were going to ask me that, and I do not know. I just never heard of these guys until yesterday as I was searching for my stock.
Right.
And my system picked it up. It says it should have a triple screen signal, and it did come also first thing today.
Okay.
So I think they are involved some kind of a cloud security, but I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, they're from London,
Yeah.
and
But everything looked good, and put
Yeah.
on a monthly chart here if you can.
I can. That's another thing, guys, over the weekend is take a look at your monthlies. The monthlies all the way on the far left.
Monthly is, yeah, okay. Monthly had a nice bottoming tail in September.
Okay.
And when I saw that, and when I saw the daily and weekly, and I said, okay, that's the one I want to go with.
Okay. Now, are you going to buy it here, or are you going to wait for a little pullback into the moving averages?
That's a good question. I don't know. Usually I get it on the first day when I get my signal, and today is my signal day. So in theory, I should be buying it today. Maybe I'll wait till 3:30 and decide.
Okay. Excellent. Yeah, I mean, it looks, like I said, the only thing I see, the momentum has already shifted to the upside. And I'm a pullback guy. And so, because for me, I'd be looking at this going, okay, I'm back up at where the sellers came in before. Sellers came in here, sellers came in here. So it's either going to do a breakout and then come back and retest, or it's going to pull back to get some additional momentum so it can break through. So I like it.
Yeah, the formula I've used is that if you look at the Market Smith chart, this will be still in the cup formation. It has not broken out yet.
Okay.
And had a blue dot on that thing on the RS line. That means there is accumulation going on in the base.
Awesome.
So there's a lot of good stuff.
And so this just came on your radar, but yeah, it's got some, like I said, it's got buyers came in here right after earnings. And so they like something that's going on in earnings and it blasted it up there. And so, okay. You guys ready?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Let's see it. Oh, wow. All right.
Ethereum. Okay. Yeah.
There you go. Okay, this is one that we have been watching for quite some time. Ethereum. I can't even pronounce it correctly, so I'm going to have to. Grayscale, Ethereum, and it is a ETF, and I think it's 3-time leverage. You trade this all the time, Eric. Is that a 3-time leverage or a 2-time leverage? Let's see if he'll respond. 3 times. Okay. The one thing that I prefer having leverage ETFs that in fact have options to them. This one does not, but at the same time, it is a fairly low cost type of trade. I would be looking at, while yes, you could basically grab it right here because it is, and I'll blow this up and show it to you, is look at what it's doing. It is almost up to the midsection of this gap down, this window gapping down. Oftentimes that is a strong level of resistance. The midsection of any type of a gap window is either strong resistance and or strong support, depending on how you come at it. So I'd be looking at my TSI has crossed over on a daily chart. It appears as if my intermediate term market forecast line is starting to cross up. Those are all positive. If we get a run back up to where it's at, up to past highs, we're talking about 25% or so. Let me go back here. So I would be looking at a couple of things. One is, maybe I would put in a order to buy this if it pulls back to about $30.70, which would be right at the 20-day moving average. And so I want to try to pick up off the 20-day moving average as much as possible. My 20-day moving average, as you can see, is at $30.17. On the weekly chart, getting a very nice little spinning top doji at a level of support. And now we're breaking out. It's breaking out. And so it wouldn't surprise me to have it come back and retest the breakout. So that's the one I'm looking at, guys. And also you can see starting to get a nice little tick up in the volume. So that's what I'm looking at, gentlemen.
Good chart.
Yeah, I like it, and I'm looking at it right now on my system, and MACD is about to cross, so get another confirmation for me, and looks good.
And so, yeah, and one of the, hold on a second, let me go over to my chart that has the, yep, there you go. There's your MACD, just about ready.
Yep.
So again, you know, and this would be one of those where you can say, hey, I want to nibble a little bit, because what happens if it gaps above this and gaps and goes? But at the same time, I'm going to stick with my system, stick with my rules, which is to basically, I want to pick it up on a pullback and or some other kind of structure, but it's looking very strong. We've been waiting for this one. Those of you who've been following active trend trading, we've been waiting on this one for several weeks now. And so, okay. Eric said he may have misspoken. Maybe just a one time. Okay. That's cool. It still does really nice moves. This last move here, this is a weekly chart. We can go back here and from the low to high, and it's done that this several times, but low to high, okay, that's 150% over a 6+ week time period. As long as we're here, let's do a real quick little fib thing on it. Okay, there we go. Grab that. And if this is a good swing low, if I get a symmetric move from there to there, off the swing low, well, I gotta click in. Okay, off the swing low, what's my 100% target on that? It's up here. Whoop. Yeah, my 100% target is right there at $50.45. And that will equate to so there you go, about a 58% move. I could see people starting to maybe roll back in. You know, this is one of the things I'm thinking about. People could start rolling back into the blockchain, the cryptocurrency, especially if Congress does pass that rule where they're going to basically, having the IRS check up on every $600 transaction you may have in your checking account. And so because from what I understand, and, if you're a crypto trader, you can tell me, because what I've heard from other people is that the crypto trades are a little bit more difficult to you're not doing an ETF, so you'd be able to find that, but the crypto trades themselves are a little bit easier to camouflage. Is that correct?
I'm not knowledgeable enough to make a statement.
Okay. So anyway, so that's what we've got going on here. So that basically, gentlemen, I really want to say thank you very much. And Mark said yes. Hey, if you are interested in the Autopilot trading system, which is basically we put in our trades. I have 7 orders that go in every week based on 5 top 5 stock list and also leverage ETFs. I send out what's called a pre-flight checklist, and that shows you exactly where I'm getting in, exactly where I'll get out, and what I'm expecting to happen with the 5 stocks. This is the 5 stocks we did on the weekend of 9/12. Crocs, we made some nice profits on. Dick's Sporting Goods disappointed. FTNT did well, and RBA, the other one, did well in the bottom also. Oh, get out of here. There we go. So you can jump on this. It's about $83 per month, and we pay for that 3 monthly payments of $333, or a year membership. You can find it at the activetradetrading.com/autopilot-trading. So put your trades on autopilot. Gentlemen, I want to say thank you very much. We are into, guess what, the last 3 months of the year. And I always love trading the last 3 months of the year. And I'm looking forward to continuing our winning ways. So please keep growing the egg, trade well and prosper. Premium members, you will be back at the top of the hour with the final hour. And so consistently, remember, aloha, trade well and prosper. Continue to start, if you haven't started growing your nest egg, start growing it. It's never too late to start. And so mahalo, God bless everybody. And Steve and Anil, thank you very much for all your input and discussion today. Really good stuff.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we'll see you guys. Aloha.